Welcome to the Power in Motion podcast, the show for women who want to develop a kinder relationship with their body so you can feel healthy, happy, and confident without restricting food, doing torturous exercise, or constantly worrying about the number on the scale. I'm your host, Kim Hagel, size-inclusive fitness specialist and certified non-diet health and life coach specializing in body image. This podcast is here to provide weight-neutral, health at every size aligned information and coaching on sustainable habits and mindset shifts so you can feel your very best in the body you have right now. Let's lace up our runners and go for a walk while we chat. Hello, and welcome back to the Power in Motion podcast. I have a really special episode for you today where I'm interviewing a longtime client, Debby, who has been participating in one-on-one coaching. And I know you're going to really enjoy hearing from her. She is just a delight, and she has a really powerful story to share about what's possible when you do the work of moving into a kind and respectful relationship with your body. So you're going to hear inside how befriending her body has helped Debby improve her relationship with food, where she no longer binges or struggles with emotional eating or fears food, how it's changed her relationship with movement, how her body image has been just revolutionized. She's got a really powerful story about the confidence that she now has in her body that she was able to achieve without any body changes whatsoever. But the really cool thing in this story is what doing this work opens up in your bigger life. And Debby shares how her whole life, from career to even where she lives, how she spends her time, has changed as a result of doing this work and how she's experiencing things in life that she never dreamed possible. So it's a very juicy episode. I'm sure you'll resonate with Debby's experience and be very inspired by the stories that she's going to share. And of course, with that in mind, if you're ready yourself to do this work, to heal your relationship with your body, then please book a consultation with me so that you can get these kind of results yourself. You can book that consultation by visiting my website, www.radiantvitality.ca/coaching. Get a time booked and we'll have a chat about your dreams and your goals and how coaching one-on-one can fast track you to get there. All right, without any further ado, let's jump into this amazing and powerful interview with Debby. Well, Debby, it is such an honor to welcome you to the Power in Motion podcast. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited to finally be here and at this part of my journey where I can actually share.
I am excited too, and I know you have a really powerful story to share. There's lots and lots that we can talk about, so I'm excited to see where this conversation goes. So why don't you get us started by telling us just a little bit about yourself, who you are, and your life, and how we got to know each other.
Okay. So I am in my 54th year. I just turned 54 this year. Um I am one of three kids. So I have an older brother and a younger sister, and very close with my family. Spend a lot of time with friends and family. And, my brother and sister are two of my best friends, which is really nice. And I'm learning kind of unusual in this day and age, but we do a lot of stuff together. Uh, I worked for the same company for 20 years, and my job came to an end, just perfect timing, just as the pandemic started. So it was a really big blow, and then the pandemic came. My brother and his partner, my sister, my niece, all ended up moving in with me. So even that was a bit of a struggle. So I was having like just some interesting times and challenging times, and, and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life next. And that's how I met you, was through an ad that I had seen, and we kind of from there. So that was where we kind of came about was during this pandemic and all of these changes in my life, I was just trying to find ways to better my life and kind of improve, my mental health state and try and decide where I'm gonna go. I was a bit of a flat mess at the time. So it was, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I grew up, where to go and, what I wanted to be. So yeah, my life has changed dramatically in the last 2 years.
Mhm. It definitely has. And I think it's interesting that you're identifying what sounds like an identity crisis at the time that we met, right? But
Yes.
I recall when I first asked you about your struggles when we first met, it was about your body and your weight and your health, which often that's the thing that comes forward first is we think that the problem is what we see in the mirror or the number on the scale. And what you've learned now is it's a deeper issue. But can you speak to do you recall like that feeling at when we first
Yeah.
met that, the feeling that if I get my body figured out, that all these other things will fall into
Yeah.
place too?
And I truly believe that. You know what? I kept thinking, "Oh, if only I could lose weight," right? If only I could lose weight, I would be happier. And if I could lose weight, I would find my dream job. If I could lose weight, I'd find, my forever partner. If I could lose weight, I would just feel better about myself. And I had a very negative body image. And along with that, just almost self-deprecating thoughts about the way that I looked and how I felt about myself. And yeah, it wasn't a pleasant outlook towards my body. I myself and my own, person I liked, but my self-worth and my connection to my body was not good.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you see that playing out in your day-to-day life? Like, how did these thoughts about yourself affect you on a daily basis?
You know, there were days where I could just kind of, forget about it
Mhm.
by not looking in the mirror, right?
Mhm.
Not really paying attention to the clothes that I was putting on or, making sure that I wore really, really, baggy clothes so that I didn't show the shape of my body and what it looked like. Uh, but it really like, it was just there, right? There was just like a heavy anchor weighing on me on a daily basis that I didn't even realize that I wasn't aware of how much interaction I had with those thoughts, even though I didn't think I was thinking them at the time. They were
Mm.
just always there.
Right. Yeah, it's so interesting. It was so subconscious that you weren't even
Yes.
aware of how much these thoughts about your body and about your weight were really influencing your whole life.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
clue.
and can you tell us a little bit about what your relationship with food looked like around that time too?
Oh my goodness. It was terrible. There was so much I had a lot of trying to think of how to describe it. Uh, almost rebellious nature, right? Or against food. And it was so hard for me to lose weight. A lot of the times I didn't even care, right? I didn't even care what I ate because even if I ate fruits and vegetables, it just seemed so hard. And I was really one of those stop start people, right? I'm going to start a diet. And then it was too hard. And within 3 days, I didn't lose 10 pounds. So forget it, right? Like it was just, I wasn't seeing instantaneous results and I wasn't seeing quick results. And so my relationship with food was just kind of foul, right? Like it was just almost like not punishment, but I just didn't care what I ate because it didn't seem to matter. And I seemed to, focus on all of the comfort foods and, the cakes and cookies, and I could live on that, for days. And takeout, holy jeepers. My skip the dishes, no kidding. I was between seven and $800 a month. So really didn't care what I ate or what that food was doing to my body because I even felt it, right? Like eating that way, it just made my body feel gross
Mhm.
and I didn't care, right? I just kept eating that way because I didn't feel like there was any way out.
Right. Yeah, like, you didn't see the point of eating in a different way because it wasn't resulting in weight loss, and weight loss was the measure of success that you based everything on. So if the way that you're
Yeah,
eating wasn't achieving that goal, then what was the point, right?
ex-
So I know that when we met, achieving weight loss was still the ultimate goal that you had in mind, right? And I know we had a long conversation when we first met about, like, if I do all of this work, will I lose weight? Because once I lose weight, yes, I'll find my dream man, I'll find my dream job, I'll be happy in my body, like, my whole life will come together. And I know that I told you that that was not something I could promise, but I would help you to think about yourself and about your body and about food in a different way, and to look at all of these circumstances in a different way, and to get to a place where you knew that you could achieve those things even without weight loss. And you
yeah.
didn't believe me
No.
at all.
Oh, not at all.
And yet you decided to do the work.
Yes, I
So
did do the work.
what was going through your brain at that time?
One of the things um, that I remember. So one of the things that I really have struggled with, or I almost want to, cross my fingers and say used to struggle with because it really is something that's not even in my purview at the like right now is binge eating, right? And that was like a big thing for me. I could go 2 or 3 days, honestly, with barely eating anything, but then sit down and eat a lot
Mm,
of food or, you know, an entire package of Oreos. And I remember talking to you and saying that, yes, like Oreos are like a huge thing for me. And you saying to me, if you put the work in and if we do this together and you follow the program, you'll be able to have Oreo cookies in your, cupboard and not eat all of them. And I was like, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
it's never gonna, right? Um, and I legitimately can now have cookies, cakes, whatever. My sister brought butter tarts into the house, I don't know, 5 days ago. And I think 2 days ago, I ended up eating half of one and we threw the others out because they had kind of expired. And like, who is this person? How does so my outlook on food and how I see food now is completely different than what it was back then. Even over the last 2 years, I do still have a goal of, and I guess I don't even look at it right now as wanting to lose weight. I want my body to serve me better, right? And that just means that I need to be in a bit of a healthier state because being this heavy is hard for me to carry around. And I'm just walking, right? Because to me, I want to be able to get up and down off the floor and play with my nieces and hopefully more nieces and nephews coming and friends, babies and kids. I want to just be able to walk up and down the stairs. So I'm not necessarily focused on the weight loss as much as I am being able to move in a way that I want to be able to move my body. That's where I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah, yeah, to improve the functioning of your body so that you can do the things that matter in life to you.
Yes, and when I think about that, so, from 4 years ago, I have lost 110 pounds, and that is substantial, and it was one of those things where I guess I can kinda correlate it to a lot of people think if I just had more money, right?
Mhm,
If I
mhm.
just had more money, I could do this. If I just had more money, I could do that. And my thought was, well, if I just lost weight, everything would be so perfect. Well, I did lose 110 pounds and none of those things that I really wanted came to fruition.
Right.
And I realized it's not just the weight, right? There's so many other things I need to do because I did lose a whole shit ton of weight. And now, yeah, it
Yeah,
didn't
your
give me
problems still follow you, right? Like, it's not the magic ticket that diet culture sells us that it is.
exactly, right? And that's what I truly believed, right? I believed every one of those ads. I believed every one of those diets. I believed everything that my life would be perfect if I just lost weight. And that wasn't the case. I still wasn't where I wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what diet culture tries to convince you is like, you just need to lose more. Like, if you just
Yes.
here or there, or maybe build more muscle or get fitter or when like that's when, the messaging just starts to change and tweak a little but it's always related to get your body fixed and
Yes.
the rest of your life will improve. And,
Yes.
I think deep down you realize like that just wasn't true.
No, that's not that exactly. That's where I was at for sure.
So when did you realize like this isn't about the weight? And what was it about?
You know, it seemed to be such a slow process. And I would see, little improvements just all of a sudden, right? We would work on things and then all of a sudden I would realize, wow, I'm thinking differently this way, or I'm eating differently this way. And I can't pinpoint, a specific time. I mean, there are a couple of things that did happen on a vacation that I had recently in May, that I do want to touch base on
Sure.
because those like big aha moments for me. But as far as going through and figuring out and finding out, when this started to happen, like it was almost there were I had to commit to not looking for huge results immediately. I'm a results oriented person. I'm a producer, not like TV producer. I just mean like I like to,
Get
you know,
stuff
I, I,
done.
I like to get things done. And so I really had to focus on not
Yeah.
focusing on the end result. I
Yes.
had to really be in the moment and processing things and working on things honestly in the moment because otherwise I wasn't going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So there were little results, you know, throughout the process every few weeks, like consistently. And it was me and you reminding me of, oh, like, but Debbie, that's a shift. But Debbie, that is different from before. And all of these little shifts and results ended up being a big thing over time.
Yeah, and that's how it works, right? And so you learned, it sounds like that the thing that needed to change wasn't your body.
No.
It was the way that you were thinking about yourself. And so as you started to think differently about yourself, you noticed that you were engaging with life a little bit differently, making different choices, and things were happening in a different way. So,
Yes.
what was the belief that you held about yourself in the past that needed to change, and what have you started to believe about yourself?
So I would say my biggest obstacle was my own self-worth. And I think I know I really struggled with that when my job ended
Mhm,
because I was so connected to my job. It was almost like my job was me.
mhm.
That ended. That was even difficult for me because now I didn't know what to do, what to be, what was I? Who am I? And a lot of that again tied into my own worth as just as a human being, right? And what was I giving out in the world and what was I worthy of? And that was my biggest obstacle was believing that I was inherently worthy. And I realized that's been a struggle since a very young age. right? Just believing in myself and believing that I was, worth it.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing that, and you're so not alone. Like, it's a pretty universal struggle, I think, for humans, women especially, like, and we're taught to believe that our worth needs to be earned. Basi
Yes.
and, like, so it makes sense when you lost your job, right? If you're not producing and contributing to the world through your work, then that's a huge blow to your self-worth. Like, "Who am I now?" So,
Yeah.
then it makes sense we shift our focus to our body. Well, at least if I can get the ideal body, I will be worthy, right? We look to all these external things to validate our. So
Yes.
how did you begin to believe that you just are worthy inherently, no matter what you do or what you look like or what you have? Tell me a little bit about how you started to believe that.
So that was one of the I would say that's been the most difficult challenge for me through this process, because you're absolutely right. When I lost my job, um, I didn't even know why it was existing, right? Like, I don't even know what to do anymore, right? Without that, that was the biggest piece, right? And that really put me into like a downward spiral. And then, between that and the pandemic, I went into a depression as well, and it was very difficult. I was working with, a therapist and working with you, and so I did all the right things, right, that I needed to do, but it was so hard. And, working with you and working through, the struggles, and just believing that, that I am worthy of so many other things, it was definitely baby steps.
Yeah.
Like, honest to goodness, baby steps. And there was no major, oh, I could just do this, and now all of a sudden I believe I'm worthy and my life is good. No, no, I don't want to discourage people by saying it took a long time. It's not that it took a long time. It's that, everybody's struggles are different. And mine was, my struggle for me was very difficult at the time, because the world was in a very different place, and
Mhm.
it hit me hard for, many other different reasons. So I don't know, if all of that had happened in a different time, would it be would I have been able to come out of that quicker? Maybe. But for me, it really was just day by day, baby steps, doing little things to get to the end result. And I don't even want to say I'm at the end result with, my worthiness and how I feel. I believe I'm still working on that, but I am 80%, you know, across my journey
Yeah.
compared to what I was 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I think, I don't think any of us ever fully arrive, right? Like, there's always, I think, as long as we're here on this earth, there's work to do, but being secure in knowing that you're worthy makes so much more available. And we're gonna talk about some of those things that it has made available for you, right?
Yeah.
And there'll be times when that comes into question, where you question your worth and where you doubt, but would you say it's easier to pull yourself out of that now because you've done this work, that you are grounded in knowing that you're worthy? So when doubt comes up, you know how to bring yourself back.
I 1,000%, right? And even while you were talking, I was thinking, okay, yeah, you know, eh, old habits die hard, right?
Mhm.
And that is one of those sayings that really is true. And for me, I just find it so easy to just, slip into those, negative thoughts, because they were there for so long. But the difference for me right now is, in working with you, I learned everybody has 60,000 thoughts in a day. And it's up to me whether I place moral value and keep those thoughts in my head or not. And even if for whatever reason, I do have a negative thought that comes in, or something that says, oh, well, I mean, of course that's happening to you because everything bad happens to you. I honestly, within seconds, go, oh, well, that was quite the thought. Boosh. Right. And just like flick it away like a
Yeah.
fly. I don't need to believe that today. No, thank you.
Yes, so that's a big difference, because I remember when I met you, if something came into your mind, it was true.
Yes.
If your brain told you that you were a piece of crap, you believed
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
100%.
Where now
Um,
it sounds like there's distance between that. You're like, oh, that's a silly thought. Bye bye.
yeah. And I'm not going to give that a second thought today. That does not need to be circling around in my brain today. Like not going to happen. And, there are times where, negative thoughts like that will just keep coming in and coming in and coming in. And, it is a struggle for me to continue to push them away, but it's easier. Right. And I have the tools and I have the thoughts to say, oh my God, now you're just being a nag, but like, I'm not interested. Right. Like I'm not interested in you taking up space in me today. And then other days, right, it'll just kind of sit there and lag. But again, I'm not putting the value against it. Okay, fine. You want to sit there, but I'm not giving you my time of day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I've observed too is when those negative thoughts are nagging at you,
Hmm.
it's not because it's true, it's because there's something else going on. It's a clue, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so talk to us about some of those aha moments, some of the big shifts that have happened as a result of thinking differently about yourself and like having more belief that you are worthy and valuable just because you exist here on this earth. What's changed? What's that made available?
So I have to say, when we were talking about, changes that have been in my life and me saying, like it was baby steps and took a long time. But a couple of the biggest things that happened to me where I just realized, wow. So my aha moments, a couple of them happened when I went on vacation in May. So my sister and my niece and I took an impromptu vacation, and we went to South Carolina. And one day, we were sitting on the beach, and my sister and her boyfriend and my niece were all in the water, and they were playing, and I looked down and I realized I'm sitting on the beach in my bathing suit with no cover up, nothing, right? Like a just full on bathing suit. And and everybody was walking by and I was saying hello and hello, and all of a sudden it hit me, right? And even like my stomach was there, my stomach was present, my legs, my thighs, everything, my feet. And it hit me that 8 years ago when we were in South Carolina and we were sitting on the beach, I was on the beach and I had a baseball hat on and a t-shirt and capris, and I even covered my entire lower body with a towel. Like from head to toe, I was covered and there was no way anybody was going to see any of my body on the beach. And here I am sitting there on the beach, like, not covered whatsoever. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
because we're
And so it
but
didn't even dawn on you when you got dressed that morning. It wasn't until much later you realized like, "Oh my goodness, I'm out here not covered up."
no, right? And, like, I got dressed to go to the beach, right? And I just put my beach cover up on, and we went down to the beach, and then as soon as we got to the beach, I took my cover up off, and I was sitting there in the chair, and I was sitting there reading my book for at least an hour before all of a sudden it struck me, here I am in all my glory, so to speak, on the beach,
Mhm.
right? Not covering up anything. Like, this is me. And even when I did think about it, then I because then, of course, my thoughts are, "Oh, geez, now are those thoughts gonna come in and tell me to cover up?" And no, like,
Yeah.
they did not. I'm here, I'm on the beach with everybody else, and I'm allowed to be here, I deserve to be here, and there's nothing wrong with me and my body, and I can be here just like everybody else.
Yeah. So that speaks to a real shift in your belief system around your body, right? Where 8 years ago you believed that your body was something that you needed to hide and
Oh,
like
yeah.
made yourself invisible by covering literally every inch of your body other than your face.
Yeah.
And so now what do you believe about your body?
Now I believe my body is, I don't know. I mean, it's just there, right? It's not, I don't look. So here's the thing. I don't look in the mirror and say, ooh, that's like the most fantastic body I've ever seen. but I don't look in the mirror with disgust anymore either, right? I don't look in the mirror and say, that needs to change. That needs to change. That needs to change before I'll wear shorts. I can't possibly wear a tank top because people are going to find that vile. I don't. I will put on, my clothes and I will just be like, huh, that's a cute top. Huh, those are cute shorts. So you know what that's the biggest shift for
Yeah.
me is my body is just my body and it doesn't mean anything about me as a human being.
Yeah. This is what we call body neutrality, people who are listening, right? Like, so your body is not an object to be admired. And when you think that it is, that's what leads to all those negative thoughts about your body and the need to cover it up, right? But the goal isn't to shift to like, I love my body and every part of me is beautiful and wonderful, because that still keeps you really fixated on the outward appearance. Rather, it's just like, it just is. It's the container you live in. It's the thing that moves you around the world. And, like you say, my body is just my body. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I
And
think that's the ultimate goal.
yes. That's where I'm at right now. And the other thing that happened to me while I was on vacation is just I don't even remember why, but we were shopping and I guess I was looking for something cooler, right? Because I had my, Kirkland Costco capris, which are great, but hot. So hot. It was so hot in South Carolina. So we went to Walmart and I saw this like aqua blue, whatever dress. And I thought, oh, I'll try it on. And I put this dress on and I went, oh my God, that's so cute. And so during my vacation, I ended up buying 3 more dresses, and I always didn't wanna wear a dress because, I have, like, these chubby knees at the back, and even from losing weight, they don't look right, and so my thought was, "Oh, no one wants to look at this, like, weird thing at the back of my leg," or for sure, I can't wear a tank top dress because my arms are still big and flabby, and I put these dresses on and I went, "Oh my God, these are like the cutest dresses." So I wore the one dress the first time and we went to the beach and we were like frolicking in the water. And I just thought, it is so cool in this little dress. And my body felt eh, so happy. My
Yeah.
body felt happy. And it was like my body was saying, oh my goodness, thank you. Right? Thank you. We're so hot all the time with what you put on us. And then I went back to Walmart and I bought 2 more dresses that were like tank top style, and I wore them and I'm like, "This is even cooler." And honest to goodness, I really did. I just it felt like my body was saying, "Oh, thank goodness. Like we've been so hot for so long. Like this is so freeing and we're just so happy." Right? Like we're just so happy. And I don't look in the mirror right now and see my legs. I shouldn't say that. I will see my legs and of course the little thought will come in and be like, "Oh, that's a chubby little leg." And I think, and that's my chubby little leg and this is a really cute dress,
Hmm.
right? And it's
Interesting.
and it's not a like so when I got home, I've even bought more dresses, right? And I wear them all the time now, not just out. They're just like little summer dresses. And I remember even 5 years ago saying, being at work in the office saying thinking, "Oh, I wish I could be one of those people that just wore cute little summer dresses." And now I am one of those people.
Yes.
Still a larger body wearing cute little summer dresses. And so I went somewhere on Sunday and I put my little dress on, a little green dress, because I knew where I was going, it was going to be hot in the room. And I did exactly that. I saw, my chubby little knees and went, oh, those are my knees, but this is such a cute dress. And that was that.
This is so powerful. This is gonna just hit home to so many people who are listening. So what I hear you saying is your body hasn't changed.
No.
And in the past, you believed that your body had to in order to feel worthy of feeling comfortable in clothing, like to wear clothing that was cool enough where your body could breathe and be cool. You did not feel worthy of wearing that in your larger body. You had to
Right.
lose weight first.
Yeah.
You haven't lost weight. Body hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is your belief that you are worthy of feeling comfortable in the body that you have. And that
Yeah.
is what's given you permission to go buy the clothes you want to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like even today, right? I'm wearing a pair of shorts and not just shorts, like spandex shorts, right? You know,
Living
I got
dangerously.
yeah, I'm living dangerous, like tight spandex shorts because there's like a heat warning and it's gonna be a gazillion degrees today, and I gotta work inside and my air conditioning doesn't work so great. So, but even before, even inside my house, knowing that I wasn't going anywhere, I would never wear shorts. Like,
Yeah.
and now, yeah, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt and so be it.
Yeah. And the world is not ending. Nothing's gone wrong, right? Like what were you afraid of in the past if you made the decision to wear shorts in the past, what were you afraid would happen?
So it's interesting because so I can go back to being on the beach and when I realized, holy crap, here I am sitting here in my bathing suit on the beach and I start looking around, right? Like shifty eyes, like oh my goodness. My biggest thing was people were going to look at me and think that's unsightly.
Mhm.
You need to cover that up. And because I also had that same belief.
Mhm.
I that body is unsightly, so cover that up. And when I realized and I looked around the beach and, you know, I people were still smiling at me and waving and saying hello, and I was saying hello back and, making eye contact and smiling, and no one was turning around gagging, right? And so like that was the biggest thing for me is I just believed it was not yeah, it was not pleasant enough to be seen by anybody or myself.
Right. And let's just entertain your brain here for a second and pretend like worst case scenario somebody did judge your body and somebody did make a rude comment. What's different now if that were to happen?
Oh gosh. So what's different now? So in the past, 1,000%, if somebody would have said that or I would have picked up on that vibe, I would have curled into a shell. My stomach would have been in knots. I would have immediately been in tears. I would have grabbed clothes and probably gone home immediately, right? Even if someone just gave me a side eye,
Yeah.
right? And now, even if someone just gives me a side eye, you know, kind of the rebellious part of me would be like, I'll side eye you back. Uh, but that's the first thing I
Yeah,
would
you would. You would.
right? 1,000%. And then, my next thing is, well, that side eye is about you. It's not about me. And the fact that I want to be out here in a bathing suit and I'm comfortable and my body is comfortable, that really has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with you, your own beliefs and your own judgments. And it's back to that kind of that thought of today, I'm not going to put any moral value on whatever it is you're trying to put on me because I don't even know who you are.
Right. In other words, it's not your responsibility to make everybody else happy.
No,
Yeah.
nope.
Big shifts. Big
Mhm.
shifts. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. I'm just so thrilled with everything that you've accomplished and what's become available for you. What do you see for yourself in the future? What goals do you have?
Um, it's interesting. So one of my biggest goals is still entertaining food being in my house, right? I've learned through this whole process is I can have any food that I want in the house.
Mhm.
And I no longer binge eat. I no longer crazy eat. I no longer have the same thoughts about food that I did about my body, right?
Mm, mhm.
Are, I learned from you and working with you, there are no good foods. There are no bad foods. There's just food. And that's kind of my goal still right now is to continue to have those views around food. And like the butter tart. Well, I don't know. I think it was 8 o'clock in the morning and I ate half a butter tart. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm eating bad food for breakfast. Like butter tart's there and I want to eat a butter tart. So I'm eating half a butter tart. I don't care what time of day it is. I will eat whatever, whenever, and I will stop. And that hasn't made me gain weight. That hasn't made me lose weight. But what it's done is it's helped heal my relationship with food, similar to how my thoughts have healed my relationship with my body. Right. So those are my two main goals is just to continue, right? Continue accepting my body and to continue accepting food into my life.
Yeah, and keeping that neutral mindset, right? Because from that neutral mindset, then you're able to engage with food and movement we touched on a little bit and dressing your body and like all of the different things as simply a way to feel and function your best.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when the butter tart's not good or bad, it's just simply food, then you can decide like, does this food serve me in this moment? And you decided it did, but only
Yeah.
half of it, and then you put the rest away. Mm.
And it's interesting too. So just like a perfect example yesterday, I have this, tie-dye shirt that I made at a camp, right, a few years ago. And it was before I even lost the 110 pounds. So it's very big and loose, but it's one of my favorite shirts. And then I have these like orange track pants. And then I put on, my pink bright, the sun is shining socks. And I have these very colorful running shoes. And I put this outfit on and I'm like, look at me rocking the color today. And I went out for breakfast, like to the local restaurant. And my sister and my niece were here and they're like, wow, that is like a bright day. And for the moment, I decided I was going for breakfast. And I thought, I don't want to change. Like, I love this outfit and I love, and sure enough, this little old lady was like, oh my gosh, you look so bright and colorful today. And I'm like, I know, right? And, even as crazy as it sounds, even 6, 8, 10 months ago, I would not have ever left the house in that outfit. Number 1, just because it's like not sloppy clothes, but like it's very comfortable, but it's bright and it's kind of crazy. And, I walked out of the house feeling like $1,000,000,
You're
and
willing to be seen. You're willing to show up in like I we won't be showing the video for this podcast, but I wish people could see you. Like you just have such a big personality. There is like I'm sure it's coming through in the audio too, right? So that outfit, as I hear you describe it, like it just embodies Debbie.
yeah,
And it's I love this story because it just shows that you're willing to step in and like own who you are.
yes.
Walk out there in that colorful outfit and be seen as the radiant human you are.
Yes, thank you, and that's exactly how I felt. I was just like, "I absolutely am going out in this outfit today." And those are my goals, right? Is just to continue to go out into the world and, and share my story, right? Like I'm at a point now where I'm happy to share my story, and I really do hope it helps some people because it's been a process, um, and I am so thankful and grateful that I'm here, and for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm in, like, the best place, I'm no longer an executive, that job is gone, we didn't touch on, but I up and changed my life completely, I left the executive life, and I decided I didn't wanna go back. I sold my house in the city and I moved an hour and a half away from everyone and everything that I knew to like this spectacular place on the river that is just peaceful and it has the most incredible vibe. And it makes me happy every day sitting out here and looking out the window and being in nature and being by the river and being Debbie by the river. And I wouldn't have been able to do that 3 years ago. I never would have even entertained it, let alone actually done it. And I'm the happiest now that I've ever been in my life.
You've been able to create the life of your dreams
Yes.
because you know that you're worthy of living the life of your dreams.
Yes. Yeah, I would say that's absolutely true, yes. I found a job that 1,000% works for me, and I work from home, so my family loves this place, so they're up here. My friends love this place, so they come here. You know, yes, I'm living the life of my dreams, and it's just spectacular.
Unapologetically.
Yes, unapologetically. Yeah, and I do tell that to people when they ask about where I live, and I say, like, I it's a dream come true. Like, it really is a dream come true being here, and I don't take it for granted. I'm grateful for this little piece of property every single day.
I'm so excited for you. Like,
Like,
it's
mhm,
just such a joy to see you living your best life. So one final question to wrap up.
yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's feeling like you were a couple of years ago and doubting themselves and feeling like nothing in their life is working and if they just lost weight, maybe everything would be better. What's something you wish someone would have said to you 2 years ago when you were in that place?
Oh, it's hard to wrap up into a couple of sentences, but the one thing for sure is if you do the work, you will find the results that you need and want. But it is work, right? But it's not a hard work. It's going to seem like hard work in the beginning because it's something that I wasn't used to doing and I had to look at things a different way, but every day as long as I committed to myself, it was easier and easier and easier. So it'll take a bit of time and everybody's journey is different, but you know, my body honestly is just a thing that I'm living in. It does not define me. It has nothing to do with my worth. I don't need to lose weight to be worthy and to have a wonderful life. And yeah, there's work behind it, but it is so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah. Like I heard you say you just have to commit to showing up for yourself and having an open mind and be willing to try something completely different.
Yes. That's what I like the way you said, yes, just commit to myself, right? Like I had to commit to the process and you know what? Trust the process and not expect immediate results. But yes, just believe that I can get there and I did, right? I did get there and it's absolutely worth it. It just, everybody's journey is different and the time frames are going to be different for everybody, but oh my goodness. If you commit to yourself, so I committed to myself, it didn't take long for me to start seeing the little progress, right? It doesn't take long. I just couldn't focus on the end result. I had to
Yeah.
be right. I had to be committed and be in the moment. And every few days it felt like, oh, look at that. That really happening? And the changes just came. They just kept happening.
It's like a snowball, right? Let's
Yeah.
start tiny little change and then another little change and another little change. And before you know it, you're sitting on the beach in a bathing suit.
Yes. And wearing dresses. Yeah, it's so
Oh,
true.
Debbie, you're amazing. And it's such a joy to be in your presence and to walk this journey alongside you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting too because I know we have to wrap up, but the one other thing that I was thinking for me in my journey, I had been seeing a therapist for 2 years who specialized in eating disorders and emotional eating and binge eating. And I'm not knocking therapy because, I needed to do all kinds of things with her. But I finished with her and started working with you and one on one in coaching. And that's the part of my journey that I needed to do to work on my body, right? Like I made more progress working with you in your program than I had um, all my life. So
Well, that's a really powerful testimony.
Yes, right, and that's why I just wanted to say, like, it was this program and this coaching that moved me to where I needed to go. It's been life-changing, 1,000% life-changing.
And the cool thing about it is, like, once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Like, you will never, ever, ever go back to where you were. And that's like the amazing thing is like these dieting is such a quick fix if it even works in the first place.
Mhm.
This is gonna be with you for life. You are forever
Yeah,
changed. It's so cool.
so thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being willing to share your story because I know that it's gonna help so many people.
I hope so. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm, like, so excited to share my story, and I really do. I really do hope that it helps people too.
I know that it will. Thanks for tuning into the Power in Motion podcast today. If you love what you're learning here, then I invite you to take the next step of embodying these concepts into your own life so that you can live your healthiest, happiest life and never again feel held back by your body. Coaching is the fastest, most efficient pathway to taking what you know in your head to actually applying it and seeing results. Whether you're looking to make changes around movement, food, body image, or all three, I'm here to help you nurture a kind, respectful, and trusting relationship with your body so you can feel your very best. Click the link in the show notes to book a free consultation, and together we'll uncover what's getting in the way of you having the results you want. You'll leave this call knowing exactly what you need to work on, and together we'll explore whether one of my coaching offers is a good fit for you. I can't wait to meet you.